And what are block elements?
Block elements which takes the whole width.
And
Whole
start
width?
with new line.
Yes, whole width available and starts with new line. For example, example, P tag, right?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. P tag.
Tag. Okay. Which tag is used for line break?
BR.
tag.
BR
BR.
tag. Which tag is used for horizontal line?
HR tag.
HR.
That tag. Very good. And what are inline elements?
Which takes only allocated text.
They don't start with new line.
Yeah. What
No, no.
for example? Which tag?
A tag.
A tag. One more example.
B tag.
B tag. Very good. And what are empty HTML elements?
Which doesn't contain content and end tag.
Yeah. Which doesn't contain content and end tag. If you want to display some text in italic form, which tag is used?
I tag.
How to create a table in HTML?
With the table tag.
Table tag.
Which tag is used to display the table row?
TR.
Which tag is used for displaying the table header?
TH tag.
And for table data?
TD tag.
TD tag. Okay. And how to apply inline styling?
Style.
Using style, what is that style called as? Attribute, right? Attributes, right? Yeah.
Yes,
Style,
ma'am.
attribute. And how many ways we can style our style sheets?
3 ways.
What are those?
Inline,
Inline,
external, internal. External.
Side external style.
Very good. Now let us start with some header section. Suppose if we want to give some title for our web page, right? We will give it in the header section. Okay. For example, title. Anusha's first web page. Okay. Let me just save it and then run it. Okay. You are able to see the name here, right? Anusha's first web page. Are you people able to see?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So for displaying title for a web page, we will be using title tag. Okay. Any doubts, anyone? And this will be used in which section?
Header.
Okay. Now let us talk about list. List means displaying some list of items. For example, if you go to hotel, what they'll say, idli, dosa, vada, sambar, right? They are giving a list of items for you. Am I correct? Okay. That list can be 3 types. Okay. There are 3 types of list. One is unordered list. Okay. Second one is ordered list. And third is description list. Okay. And how to indicate that it's an unordered list, right? You use one tag called UL, which stands for unordered list. And to display each item in the list, you will use one tag called LI tag. For example, idli, Okay, now I'll just show you. So this is some list of items, right? For giving some list of items, we will use one tag called suppose unordered list means you are seeing before idli one bullet point, right? So suppose if he doesn't know the count, if he doesn't want to know the count, we will be using this unordered list. Any doubts, anyone? And by default, it uses this disk symbol. Okay. Now, let me tell you about ordered list. So ordered list uses the tag OL. Okay. And it also contains the list items. And if you can see it now, this is ordered list 1, 2, 3, 4. Basically giving just number is called ordering. So those are ordered list. Any doubts, anyone till now?
No, ma'am.
No.
And we can even change these symbols before the list item. Okay. For unordered list, it is done by using the style attribute. Okay. In the style attribute, we have a property called list style type. Okay. And we can give whatever type we want. And there were 4 types. One is disk, which is the default. Okay. And the other one, what you can give is circle. Okay, let me just save it. Run it. You're seeing the difference, right? You're seeing the difference,
ma'am.
right? It's bulleted with circle. Now, if you want square, you can just give square. Okay, suppose you doesn't want to give anything. Okay, you doesn't want any bulleted points or anything. You can just give none. Any doubts, anyone till here?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Now, for ordered list, the initial value starts from 1. So the type, we will give one attribute called type, and it will take 1, which is the default one, and the numbering starts with 1. Okay, that's why it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you want to start them with small letters, okay, you'll use small a. Okay, now you will see small ABCD. Suppose if you want to start them with capital A, then you can just give capital A. Okay. Now you can see capital A, B, C, D. Okay. And if you want Roman letters, right? So you can give this Roman letter 1, 2, 3. Suppose we have also a small Roman letters, right? I. Then you can give this small Roman letters. Any doubts, anyone? Now, the third type of list, whatever we have, is the description list, which starts with DL tag. Okay. And so you will see basically in your in your schooling age as well. If we are asked one question, what we will do, we will give subheading and we will just keep on describing them. Am I correct? We'll just give subheadings and we will describe, right? Suppose coffee, I like coffee. Tea, it is made of sugar and tea powder. Suppose some history, you will be keeping one side heading and giving the description for that, right? So for that purpose, you will be using this description list, okay? And the term DT means you are giving the term, what is the description term? For example, DD. Okay. And in this, what you can give, okay. Its meaning is that you understood, right? Suppose if you want to give a full form for this DD. Okay. So you will just say DD description data. That's the meaning of this. Okay. So DL stands for description list, DT stands for description term, and DD stands for description data. So you are giving just subheading and you will define its, for example, TCS, Tata Consultancy Services. So for this purpose, we will be using this description list. Any doubt, anyone? How many kinds of lists are there?
3 types.
Three.
What are those?
Unordered list, ordered list, and description list.
Okay, what how will you tell that a list is unordered? Which tag you will be using?
UL.
UL.
You will.
UL tag.
How to define each item in that list using which tag?
Line tag.
What is the default list style type for the UL? List,
Bullet points.
yeah,
Bullet.
that is this. Okay, and how can you change that using what attribute?
List style type.
Style
Tag.
In style attribute, which property you will be changing? The style attribute,
The type like a square.
list style type, right? This is the property.
Yeah.
This is known as property, and this semicolon after whatever is present, this is known as value. Okay, this is known as property and this is known as value. Okay, now which property we are using here? What is the property?
List
of
style
this
type.
list
List.
style type? And how, if I want to make them as circle, then what should I give the value?
Circle.
If it doesn't,
Circle.
if it doesn't want to display any bullet points, then
None.
None.
okay. And how will you know that it's an ordered list? Which tag?
UL tag.
OL tag.
OL.
Tag. Okay. And what will be the default ordering of the OL tags?
Numbers.
1 to 3.
Numbering. Okay. If you suppose if you want to change the type of that numbering, how will you do that? Using which attribute?
Type.
Type attribute.
List style type.
List style is for only for UL, but for order list you will be using type attribute. Okay. And which tag is used for defining a description list?
DL.
And which tag is used for defining the term?
DD.
Tag is
DD.
used for defining the description of the term.
DD.
DD. Oh,
DD.
this is about list. Any doubts, anyone till now?
Madam, can we write TCS and its full form in one line only in coding?
With this
TCS.
description list, we cannot do it, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and I want to tell you about two more tags, okay, which are div tag. Okay, what is the meaning of div is that if you want to specify some section or division, you will be using a div, which means that all these tags you can enclose into one tag. Suppose these three headings. Okay, you can place it inside a div, which meaning is that this div is a section which contains this H1, H2, H3. Any doubts still here? So basically it acts as a container. It acts as a container and used for wrapping up of the HTML elements. So these three elements, we can say that it's in one section in the under the div tag. Okay. Like H1, you will be displaying some contents and all, right? That we will not be doing using the div tag. Okay. Any doubts, anyone? And we have also one more tag called span, okay? And it's an inline container, we will say. For example, what is the special use case of span is, right? We have this heading, hi, welcome, okay? Suppose I don't want to give background color for this entire hi, welcome. Instead, I want to give some background color only for welcome. How can I do that? Any guess? You understood my question, right? So you can see hi, welcome as a H1 tag. Am I correct? You can see this tag, right? Hi, welcome.
Yes, ma'am.
Suppose if I want to give background color only for welcome, okay? For that kind of purposes, we will be using one tag called span tag, which means that it's a container for this inline, it's a container for this welcome word. Am I correct? And for this, how to style it? How to style this tag using which attribute?
Style attribute.
Style attribute, okay. And for giving the background color, we will use the background color as a property, and the value, whatever you want, you can give it, okay? Any doubts, anyone? So span is basically used as inline container and used for marking some content, some part of content. Okay, this is the full content, right? If we want to mark only some content, then we will be using this span. Any doubts? Okay. Now we will talk about wait a second. Now we will talk about semantic HTML elements and non-semantic HTML elements. Okay. Semantic HTML elements and non-semantic HTML elements. So HTML elements with meaning are known as semantic HTML elements. HTML elements without any meaning are known as non-semantic HTML elements. For example, if you are using a pay tag, what can you tell by using this tag?
A paragraph.
It's a paragraph. Okay. Suppose if you are using a anchor, a tag, what can you tell? It's a link, anchor tag, right? So
Yes,
these
ma'am.
HTML elements have some meaning, right? If we are using them, we know that it's a paragraph, it's an anchor link, it's an image like that, it's an heading. So these are known as semantic HTML elements, okay? Non-semantic HTML elements are elements without meaning. So for example, div. So if you just use the term div, what do you understand by this tag? Nothing, right? Nothing, right? You cannot understand its meaning, right? If you are saying P, it's a paragraph, but for div, what you will say? You'll say nothing, right? So these are known as non-semantic HTML elements. If you are telling a span, what is this tag meaning? Can you tell? No, right? These are only used as containers, but it doesn't contain any specific text contents like this to define what they are. Okay. So these are known as non-semantic HTML elements. Any doubts, anyone till now? Please feel free to ask. Okay. So how many of you are having Amazon accounts? Nobody has an Amazon account.
I do have it.
Yeah. So
I do
in
have an
order
Amazon account.
to ignore about, if you want to make an order basically in the Amazon, it will ask you for login, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So you will be seeing something called username and something called password, and then you will be having something, one button, and you will be clicking them. Then you will be redirecting into the site. Am I correct?
Yes.
So that username and password, what they are called as basically
Credentials.
credentials. So, okay. Suppose you are a student and you are asked to fill some details of yourself, and one link will be given. Okay. If you just open that link, you will be given name, age, gender, okay, place and all. So what kind of information you are giving? Your personal information, right? So it is known as form. Okay. You are giving your data. Am I correct? It's called as
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
form, right? Just fill these Google forms. Everybody used to say, right? Just fill out this form.
Yes.
Even if you go to a bank, they will give you a paper with form, right? Just fill all the details and all. So in HTML also we have these forms. As you see in the Amazon screen, that username, password, that button, it's a form. Okay. Whenever you are submitting that form, what they will do, they will validate your credentials using the backend APIs. And if you are if you are a registered customer, then they will provide, and your details are correct, then you will be entered to login. Otherwise, you will get an error there and there itself, either asking you to sign up, either your password credentials were wrong. Okay. So we are using something called forms. We are creating forms. Okay, basically. So form tag is used for creating the forms. Okay. And you will be able to see, right? To provide any input boxes, right? You will see some text boxes where you can type some text, right? So those are called as input boxes. Okay, that you will indicate with input, and you can give just the type. Okay, you can just give text so that you can enter some text in this. Okay, let me just save it and show you. This is a form which contains one input and where you can enter the text. Okay, now you need to give some you need to know what type of text you need to enter. Am I correct? Okay, for that you will be giving one thing called label tag. Okay, and you will give name. By this, you will understand that you need to give name for this input box. Any doubts till now? No, right?
No, ma'am.
No,
And
Anuj.
for knowing the additional information, like you can just give one attribute called for, and you can just indicate this label is for name, like that. Okay. Now tell me how create one label with age, and tell me its input, how to create that.
Form.
Number.
No, just tell me, I will write it down. One label for age and one for input box. How to create a label using which tag?
Label tag.
Yeah, label tag. Then what I said? It's age.
Integer.
Yeah, it will give age. For what we are using this label? For what we are using
Or
this?
numbers.
For age, we are using this label. Am I correct? For what
Yes.
purpose? Okay. And what we need to give? We need to give one input box, right? And since age will be always a number, you can give type equal to number. Okay. So that by mistakenly, you cannot enter any text in that. Okay. Let me just reload it. Now you can see, right? I can only enter 1, 2, 3. If I try to enter anything other than number, right, I will not be able to see it. It will not get reflected. Any doubts, anyone till here?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Now we have different types of inputs. Have you seen radio buttons? Have you seen radio buttons anywhere?
Yes.
Yeah. So how they will look like, you have one input, okay? And for that, you will just give type equal to radio, okay? And you will give some name, okay? For example, name equal to language, okay? And yeah, HTML. Now what I will do, I'll just copy paste. Okay. Now if you just say, have you seen this kind of buttons, right? Radio buttons. Okay. In order to understand what they are actually, what you need to give.
Yeah.
So to understand input boxes, what you have given?
Test.
No. To understand what this input box is for what purpose? What you have given label, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So in order to know the purpose of radio buttons as well, you need to give some label. Otherwise, how will you know? Am I correct? Okay. For example, now are you able to understand? So we'll be given the options, right, for knowing the gender, male, female, or other. So why we will be giving that? Since we will select only one option out of 3 options, we will be using radio buttons. Am I correct? You cannot select the gender as both, right? Yes. So if we want to select only one input value, then we will be using something called radio. Okay. And if you see, the name will be same for everyone. Okay. That's why you are able to select only one selection. Okay. If you give the name as different, then it will corresponds to different. You will be able to select the both one, which is wrong. So that's why name attribute will be same, but the value which is holding this label will be different. So the value of this HTML will be HTML, CSS will be CSS, JS will be JS. So what's the value of this label JavaScript? What is the value of this label JavaScript? JS, right? Hello.
Yes, Anisha.
Yeah. So that is for this purpose, we will be using the radio box. Suppose if you want to make multiple selections, then have you heard about the checkbox? Have you seen the checkbox?
Yes.
Yeah. So for that, you will be giving something type equal to checkbox. Okay. And now what we will do, we will give the same names. Now, in order to checkbox means what is the meaning? Selecting more than one. For that purpose, we will be using checkboxes. Am I correct? You have seen this, right? These things. Correct? For this case, if you want to give the name for these checkboxes, right? You will not give the same name, but a different name you will be giving for each checkboxes. Okay. For example, name equal to lang1, then name equal to lang2, because they are different values. Am I correct? So names also will be different. But here in case, it's for 3 options for same, for example, which is a favorite subject. Tell me only one. In this scenario, these input boxes corresponds to only one input box, which will be the final answer. Tell me all of your favorite subjects, which meaning is that you can tell all these 3. That is the meaning of checkboxes. Any doubts, anyone, or if you people are not understanding, let me know. I can repeat it. Any doubts? In case of radio buttons, you can select only one, but in case of checkboxes, you can select multiple. Yeah. Any doubts, anyone? Any doubts?
No.
Okay. And suppose, so you will be seeing sometimes, right? If you don't give your username and password, and if you directly click on your submit button, okay, or sign in button or login button, what it will display? Login is user details and passwords are mandatory. Am I correct? So in order to tell that they are required, so we will give one attribute called required. That's it. So that this field should be compulsorily filled whenever you are clicking on the submit of the button. That is the meaning. Okay. And we have some read-only input boxes. For example, I'll give some value Anusha for this input box, and it will just display, sorry, it's age, right? Okay. And you can see it's filled, right? The value Anusha is filled. And now I can change it to anything. But if you want to make it only read only, but not write it, you cannot write it, you can just only see it. For that purpose, what you can do, you can just make this input box as read only. Okay. And you cannot edit it. Any doubts, anyone? Any
No,
doubts?
ma'am.
Sorry, Dinesh.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now, if you want to disable the input box, okay, you can just give disabled. And you, in case of read only, it is like this, right? In case of disabled, it will be grayed out. You cannot even select it. In case of read only, you can just even select it, okay? You can just select it. But in case of disabled, even the selection is disabled. It's completely grayed out. Any doubts, anyone? Suppose if there will be some constraints like your username should be only 20 characters. It should be only 20 characters and it shouldn't exceed that. For that purpose, what we will give one attribute called max length. Okay. And if we give it 5, only 5 characters are allowed to enter into that text box. Okay. If you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I am pressing the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in my keyboard, but you will not be able to see those values. That is the usage of max length. Suppose if I am telling a minimum length, okay, which meaning is that you need to have at least 2 characters. for this input box. Any doubts, anyone? Any doubts? Okay, you
No.
will so you will better understand forms in the Angular. At that time, you will know if these validations are not properly followed, max length is not followed or minimum length is not followed, then you will be straight away able to see the errors here. Okay, that we will be seeing in Angular. Any doubts, anyone? No, right? Now, have you people seen the drop down? Okay, let me just suppose again while sign up, which country are you from? And it will give you a list of countries list, right? India, Pakistan, etc., etc. Those are known as actually a drop downs. Okay, drop downs first state. Okay, which means you will be using one select tag because you need to select those in the drop down. Okay, for this you will be using the select tag and you will be just giving some names. For example, for what purpose we are using, for state purpose we are using. Okay, in that we will be having some list of options, and we will display that list of options using the option tag. Okay, here you can say it as Andhra Pradesh. Okay. Okay. Telangana. Assam. West Bengal. Okay, some of the examples I have given. And we can even contain the value attribute here. Okay. Value equal to, which stands for AP, basically. And Telangana value may be T. So I'll tell you the real usage of these values. Okay. Now, whenever you are seeing the actual value for these options will be shown in the drop down is Andhra Pradesh. But whenever you are submitting your form to the backend, right, they will not just use this Andhra Pradesh, Telangana. Instead, what they will use the state codes. Okay. And that codes you will be giving something in called value. And this is the value only being passed to the backend APIs. This value is used only for visual purpose. Okay, even in case of here, right, this is used for visual purpose. This value is sent for the backend. Any doubts, anyone?
No.
Are you people there? So you can see, right, drop down for state, and you can select from this Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Assam, and West Bengal, right? By default, which is the first option will get selected automatically. Okay. This is the first option, right? So it got selected automatically. Suppose if you want to make one selection by default, you can use this selected. Okay. And you can just say by default now Telangana will be selected. Any doubts, anyone?
No, ma'am.
Yeah. And you can give the size attribute here, size proper attribute here. Okay. Size equal to suppose 3 if you say. Now, right now in the drop down, currently how many value you can see visually? So in this drop down visually, how many values you can see?
1.
1. Okay. If you give the size 3, right? We have given 3, right? Now visually 3 values will be visible. Okay, the fourth value also will be there, but visually 3 values will be there. Suppose if you give 2 here, now how many values will be visible?
Values.
2, correct?
2.
I have given 2, 2 will be shown. Suppose if I give 4, how many values will be visible by default?
4 values.
4.
All the 4 you will be able to see. Any doubts, anyone till here? And in many times, you will be asked to write some feedback, right? You will be writing some description. I didn't like your products, or I didn't like your courses, anything or that. So for that particular kinds of writing some big text, for that purpose, we will be using one tag called text area. Okay. And this is how it looks like, text area. Okay. And you can mention how many rows and how many columns should be visible as well. How many it should take. Okay. Rows equal to 10. Columns equal to 15. It will just adjust according to that. Any doubts, anyone? No, right? Okay.
No.
Yeah. Now, if we want to define, styles, I have told about inline styling, right? Using the style attribute, we will be styling. Am I correct? Using style attribute, we will do the inline styling. Okay. Now, how to do an internal styling? Okay. You will use one tag called style tag. Okay. And in this style tag, you will be defining all your styles for your web page. Okay. Now, how to do basically the styling? Okay. First, you need to have one thing called selector. One thing called selector, and there will be some declaration block. Okay. And in the declaration block, you will be having two things, which is property and value. Okay. Now, what is the selector here? Suppose if I want to style for this paragraph, okay. Now, my selector will be P tag. Okay. Declaration block means if you specify block, that is the meaning of curly braces. Block means curly braces. Defining some lines of code is known as a block. Some pieces of lines of code put together is known as a block. So this is the selector and this is the declaration block. In this, we will contain two things, property and the value. Suppose if you want to have the background color, you will be using some background color property and you will be specifying the value. Okay, now if I just load it, you are able to see, right? Any doubts, anyone? Any doubts?
Oh, man.
Yeah. What is this P is known as? What are the three things if you want to do internal styling? What is this P tag? What is this P? Selector, right? Just now I repeated. What is P here?
Selector.
Yeah. What is this curly braces?
Declaration.
Declaration block. Okay. What is this background color here?
Property.
What is this red?
Value.
For this property, we are assigning red color value. That is the meaning. Any doubts, anyone? Okay. Now, So suppose now you have given a P tag. Okay, what happened? For all the P tags, it will apply this background color. Am I correct? But if I want to apply the background color only for this P element, then I can use some syntax called IDs. Okay, that I will tell in the next class. Now I'll brush up whatever I have told you. How many kinds of lists are there in the HTML?
3 types.
What are they?
Unordered list,
Order.
ordered descriptions.
Unordered, ordered.
How to, which tag is used for unordered list?
UL tag.
Which, what is the tag used for declaring a list item? Which tag is used?
LI.
What is the default list value, list type, list style type for an UL?
Bullets.
Disk, right? Disk. Okay. How to change that, those disk bullets and all? If I
Again,
want
style.
using the style tag,
List style type.
list style type, correct. Which tag is used for declaring the ordered list?
OL
OL.
tag.
What is the default, what is the
Tag.
numbering, right? Yeah, if I want to change the numbering to smaller case or uppercase alphabets, then what we will use? What is used? Type attribute, right? Type attribute. Here what you are using? You are using list attribute with the property list style type. To define the description list, which tag is used?
DL tag.
To define the description term?
DT.
To define the description data?
DD.
Okay.
DD.
Okay. Now, what are semantic HTML elements?
Elements
Tags
which have
with meaning.
Yeah, HTML elements with meaning. What is the purpose of div tag?
combine all the
Yeah,
things.
it's known as, we can combine all the tags as a one section. Correct? It's used as a container for HTML elements. Okay. For which purpose we are using the span tag?
It also acts as a container for inline.
Yeah, it's an inline container. If we want to suppose say background color of an inner content or inner text, then we can use the span tag. What are non-semantic HTML elements?
Elements
Which
without
don't have meaning, such as div, span.
Yeah, are known as non-semantic
non
HTML.
Non-semantic.
Which tag is used for creating the forms in HTML?
form tag.
To give the label, which tag is used?
Label.
Label.
And to define the text boxes, right? Which tag is used? Text boxes.
Or
Checkbox.
No. Which tag is used for taking the inputs from users like us? For taking inputs. Input
Label.
box, right? Input box. Label is just for giving a label for your input box, but actual text
Yes, sir.
will enter in input boxes. Am I correct?
Yeah, correct.
And what are the different types of input boxes available? What are the different types of input boxes? Types. Here we have given text, then different types.
number.
Number.
Number. Radio checkbox.
Yes. Okay. Okay. And suppose if we give the type number, are we allowed to type some text in that particular input box?
No.
If we want to create radio buttons, then what input types will be using?
Radio.
And radios allows which type of selection?
Only one.
Single selection.
Single selection. If you want to use, want to select only one single item, right? Then we will be using the radios. Which input type is used for checkboxes?
Checkbox.
And does it support single selection or multiple selection?
Multiple selection.
Multiple selection.
Multiple selection.
For defining a drop down, which tag you will be using?
Drop down.
For defining a drop down, which tag is used? So drop down means what is that? A list will be dropped down. In that, what you need to do? You need to select, right?
Select.
Which tag is used? Select tag, right? Okay. So this select tag is used to display a number of options in which we will be only selecting one option. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Which tag is used for drop downs?
Select tag.
Select.
Which tag is used for defining options in your select? Which tag is used for defining options?
Option.
Value.
Options meaning what are the options here? Andhra Pradesh,
State.
Telangana, Assam, West Bengal. These are options, right? Which tag we have denoted them with? Which tag? What is it?
Option tag.
Yeah,
Option.
tag.
Option one.
Tag is used for denoting the options in select or in the drop down. Am I correct? Suppose if you want to type some big data and all, which tag is used for that?
Text
Area.
Text area. Okay. And if I want only 5 values to be entered into my input box, then what attribute can I give?
Max length.
Max length. Suppose if I want to make it a read only, I want user to only see at it, but not allow him to write it. What can I do for that input box?
Read.
Read
only.
only.
If I want to display
Read only.
that,
Disabled.
Disable.
suppose if this input box is mandatory, then what we will be giving?
Required.
Required. Very good. And how to do internal styling? Using which tag?
User.
Internal styling. As I said, internal styling can be done using style tag in the header section. Okay. Are you people having doubts here? So internal styling means inside in this file only, but in a different section. Inline styling meaning is the same line. Okay. So using the style tag, we will be defining styles for your HTML element. Okay. And what is the P here?
Selector.
And what is this curly braces?
Declaration.
Declaration block. Okay. Block meaning curly braces. Block meaning curly braces. Okay. And what is this background color?
Property.
And what is this red?
Value.
Value.
Internal styling. Using style Using style tag in the header section is known as internal styling. That's it. Okay. Using style tag in the header section. So that's it for today's class, and I will upload this in the YouTube. And I think nobody has seen the yesterday's class because you people have very well understood it. I guess some people are having doubts in this class. So please watch it and practice it. Okay. Okay. Bye.
Sure,
everyone.
Anusha.
Happy
Bye
weekend.
bye.
Yeah, we'll
You
have
too.
yeah, thank you. We'll have our next class on Monday. Okay. Till then, bye bye.
Cool. Thanks.
Thanks,
Bye
ma'am.
bye.